Discover solutions to issues that affect your family and professional life with practical information to help you get past life's adversities. Take a proactive approach to power up your life with Rosalie's expert resources.
Hundreds of Floridians came together in Tallahassee for the annual Developmental Disability Awareness Day. The Florida Developmental Disability Council, the ARC of Florida, and the Agency for Persons with Disabilities rallied during a press conference. Legislators and self-advocates from around the state attended to show their support. Florida Agency for Persons with Disabilities, APD, serves the needs of Floridians with developmental disabilities and works in partnership with local communities and providers to assist people with developmental disabilities and their families. Barbara Palmer was appointed Director of the Agency for Persons with Disabilities by Governor Rick Scott after serving the agency's Chief of Staff. Before coming to APD, Palmer was the Assistant Secretary for Administration at the Department of Children and Families.
Barbara, today, this celebration, tell us what it means to you.
It means everything. The fact that people came from all over the state to come up here and celebrate the needs that they have and to disseminate that information to legislators is extremely important. This agency has been living for decades without any kind of change, and you know, the world has changed. So we now have to really take a look at how we're providing services. They want jobs just like anybody else does. They want to be treated just like anybody else does. And so we're looking at ways that we can do that and get them into the community and let the community understand the real unique abilities that people that have developmental disabilities have. Revitalizing services for people with disabilities is now on the forefront.
Gail Harrell of District 83 in Martin County presented a passionate stance on the ABLE Act.
I am so pleased to say that just yesterday, our committee passed out 3 bills that are going to enable individuals with disabilities to have special accounts, and it's called the ABLE Act.
The Achieving a Better Life Experiencing Act, or the ABLE Act, is federal legislation that aims to ease financial strains faced by individuals with disabilities by creating tax-free savings accounts available to cover qualified expenses such as education, housing, and transportation.
Hopefully within a few weeks it will be on the floor of the House of Representatives, and then we'll be able to have ABLE Acts to enable each and every one of you.
Florida's Lieutenant Governor Carlos Lopez Cantera stressed the importance of state funding to eliminate the critical needs wait list and put the resources necessary to care for those in need.
Last year, the governor, myself, and Senator Gardner worked tirelessly to ensure that we had sufficient funding in the state budget to eliminate the critical needs wait list for the Agency for Persons with Disabilities. To tell you how significant that is, it's the first time in the history of Florida that that ever happened. And this year, in the governor's proposed budget, we are proposing to the legislature a sufficient amount of funds to, again, eliminate the critical needs wait list at the Agency for Persons with Disabilities. There is no reason why that when the state of Florida has $1 billion surplus, that we should not put the resources necessary to take care of those who we need to take care of.
Senator Anna Terry Flores of District 37, Miami-Dade County, presented the 2015 Idalia Valdez Leadership and Advocacy Award, named in honor of the late Florida Developmental Disability Council member and self-advocate.
Each one of you have the abilities and power to do anything in the world that you can. But there's one special person here today who went above and beyond and gets to have this award. So on behalf of everyone here and in behalf of the Florida Developmental Disabilities Council, please join me all in giving a huge warm round of applause to Amanda Baker from Pensacola, who is going to be this year's recipient.
Amanda Baker of Panama City was honored with the award for her community advocacy and personal achievements.
Tell me, what do you think your greatest lesson has been to teach others?
that just because you have a disability doesn't mean that you're limited in what you can do. You can do anything you want to do. You just have to make a plan for yourself and follow that plan no matter what. And if something happens to veer you off the plan, you make a new path for yourself and just keep going.
Florida House of Representative Alan Williams of District 8, Gadsden, and Leon County supports the inclusion of all voices of Floridians.
When you hear stories like Amanda's and so many other stories that cover this state from Key West to Pensacola, those stories are not just stories, in a vacuum. And that's what's so powerful about your voice.
State Representative Mark Pafford for House District 86 in Palm Beach County advocates for his constituents with disabilities to have dignity they deserve.
We each come from a different place in the state, and we each, I like to say, embody what it is that 150 some odd thousand people feel and live and breathe and want in those areas of the state. That's why we're here, and if we're not representing you, then frankly we're not doing our job.
APD Director Barbara Palmer rallied the crowd to persevere in life and never, never, never give up.
The only way that you get it accomplished is by trying and keep trying and keep trying. You never fail until you stop trying. Never, never, never give up. 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 Go march on the Capitol.
The ABLE Act was passed and now provides a mechanism for individuals with disabilities to save funds needed for future services and care without losing their eligibility for state and federal benefits. We traveled up to Kennedy Space Center to go behind the scenes and meet with those who facilitate disability mentoring opportunities at Kennedy Space Center. We're here with Eddie Roblinski, and he's from the Office of Diversity and Equal Opportunity at Kennedy Space Center. Tell us a little bit, Eddie, about what you do on a daily basis.
Well, I am primarily responsible for the disability program here at the center. And my responsibilities include providing reasonable accommodations for our workforce who have disabilities, and I also am involved in strategically planning recruitment activities to increase the percentage of individuals with disabilities in our workforce.
And so how's that working out? Are we getting more people with disabilities employed?
Our workforce has drawn down, of course, as you well know, after shuttle, and it's a challenge to have individuals with disabilities to enter the workforce because of austere budgets and other reasons, but we continually strive to reach out to that community to try to increase their participation rates.
And of course, Eddie, you participate in Disability Mentoring Day each year.
Disability Mentoring at KSC provides students and applicants with disabilities the opportunity to mentor and to pair up with both contractors and NASA civil servant employees and get a day's look at what the career opportunities may look like here at the center.
And the interesting thing is, that's how you met our videographer today.
I did.
Pat, you met him during Disability Mentoring.
I did. I met Pat last year during Disability Month, and I immediately recognized him.
So when you start thinking about how it does work, that one day helped now create a 1 week opportunity. And that's basically what your futuristic plan is. That's how you're trying to plan how this population can have an opportunity at Kennedy Space Center.
Well, certainly. And the longer that we can have folks come out and be exposed to those opportunities, perhaps the more energized and excited they'll become about working for NASA and engaging in those kinds of career paths.
I visited with Joshua Santora, a KSC Educational Program Specialist at NASA Education, and Amanda Griffin, Internal Communications Specialist, Communication and Public Engagement at KSC. Amanda was mentor to videographer Pat Archer during Disability Mentoring Day and a 1 week internship. Pat learned firsthand about KSC's new commercial direction the Space Center is taking on.
So as we change space programs, the space shuttle being the past and SLS being the future, we have to accommodate a new way of life essentially for us here. And part of that includes commercial companies. There's lots of companies that are interested in approaching commercial space as a reality. And so we're trying to accommodate them as best we can because we are the premier launch site in the world. And Firing Room 4 is a big part of that because this is where we're going to hopefully have those commercial companies operate their firing room teams with to actually get vehicles off the pad.
So this is like the bones of the room at this point, huh?
Absolutely. So all that's here right now is just some walls and some holes in the ground for all the cabling to be run.
Okay, but there's a big purpose here.
Absolutely. So we're in one of the quads right now of essentially what are obviously 4 spaces for commercial companies to be able to use. And the reason that the walls are up and that there's glass so that they can be closed or shaded at some point is to have competing commercial companies next to each other. So you're not going to be concerned about proprietary information being given away to a competing company. So you can be literally 10 feet from somebody that's the other guy, but still be protecting your information and get your job done in a timely manner.
Those with disabilities who aspire to work in science, technology, and math look forward to new space exploration major milestones that bring us one step closer to experiencing human spaceflight launches once again from Kennedy Space Center. Where in the world is everyone going? Florida streets are crowded with license plates from all over the nation. The restaurants are packed and the hotels are flourishing. When it comes to domestic tourism, Florida expects 69.5 million visitors this year. So where are all the tourists staying and what are they paying? Here to give us some insight on hotel prices in major city destinations is Taylor Cole, Head of Public Relations North America for Hotels.com. Good morning, Taylor.
Good morning, Rosalie.
All right, so tell us about the Hotel Price Index biannual survey and the overall trends you're seeing.
Yes, the Hotels.com Hotel Price Index is a survey of actual prices paid on Hotels.com. We've been doing this for more than 11 years, and so there's a rich plethora of information available on where travelers are going, on average what they're paying, and what you can expect to see in terms of prices.
So what are some of the biggest Hotel Price Index surprises?
On average, American travelers are spending 5% more on domestic travel. They're also paying about $137 per night for accommodation. And when you look at Florida overall, Florida is above the national average.
So what does the Hotel Price Index tell us about Florida's hottest destinations and where international travelers are staying?
Yes. Well, Miami and Orlando both saw price increases from 3 to 5%. We're also seeing overall, though, that international travelers are coming into Miami, particularly as it remains one of the top 20 destinations for international travelers, as does Orlando. But then when you look at other cities like Jacksonville, you find that prices are at about $95 a night.
Florida's increase in tourism is bringing in an additional 6,000 jobs.
That's exciting news as well, because travel and tourism continues to attract people to the Americas, and so overall you're going to see more people coming in. You're also seeing them spend dollars here, which is great for our economy.
All right, Taylor, so what other trends are you seeing?
You know, overall, there's still a lot of great deals to be found. You know, I highly recommend Mexican destinations, for example. Head to Cancun, head to Los Cabos, where on average American travelers are spending in about $150 a night. And then looking domestically, New York, Las Vegas, of course, Fresno, throughout Florida, Orlando, Miami remain popular destinations. And then don't forget to book on our mobile booking app. You can always find last-minute deals, especially if you're willing to travel within 24 to 48 hours.
Thanks, Taylor, for bringing a bright forecast on Florida's tourism and where to find deals on domestic and international traveling if you're leaving the state.
Thanks.
It's that time of year again to spring into tech action with the amazing and energetic Katie Linendoll, Emmy Award-winning TV host and technology expert. She joins us to share some of her favorite gaming tech and app picks. Good morning, my Florida tech buddy.
Good morning. Always good to talk to you.
All right, so what's new to keep us on top of our games?
Yes, well, if you're a gamer or even if you're not, you have definitely heard of this one. Of course, all things Halo. And I know a lot of people didn't get that Xbox One console for around the holiday season. Well, guess what? You are in luck because this is awesome. There is now Halo Master Chief Collection Bundle, and it's an exclusive bundle that includes Xbox One console and the digital copy of entire Halo collection. So 4 total games inside here.
Speaking of games, my single friends work too much and need to get back into the swing of things. What's new in the dating scene?
Let's say hello to the #1 dating app, Zoosk. What's cool about this is 33 million members, and it does all the work for you behind the scenes. It actually starts to understand what you like, or who you like for that matter, based on your clicks and your preferences that you fill out. It's kind of like Netflix for online dating. And what's cool about it is you can actually browse profiles for free. The only time it's going to cost any money is if you decide you want to message someone and continue to use Zoosk. There's photo verification, which is great for security too. You can send in a 7-second selfie video, and the Zoosk team will verify that that photo online of you actually does indeed look like you. So no more surprises. Very cool app, Zoosk for online dating.
This time of year is great to get out and enjoy Florida's hot spots. So how do we stay safe?
Digital lives are just getting bigger, and we're out with our smartphones, our tablets, and of course we have laptops too. And what that does is it actually leads to more threats online and more hacks. How do you stay protected? Well, Kaspersky, which is an award-winning internet technology company, actually has offered now a new solution. It's called Total Security. It's going to protect all of your devices. No matter how many devices, it's all going to be under $100. So you got a Mac, you got a PC, Android, iOS, going to protect you online shopping, going to protect from people popping into your webcam, going to protect against spam. If you're a parent, it actually can protect your kids from inappropriate content. So again, as our digital lives get bigger, take advantage of protecting yourself. Kaspersky Total Security, again, helping you out on that digital footprint. Oh yeah, I gotta show you this one. So very cool, and it's all about going hands-free. This is from a brand called Okta, showing you 2 different options here, Spider Monkey and Lynx. They start at $79.99. So whether you're laying on the couch watching videos on your iPad or you're in bed reading articles, again, hands-free. You can actually put your tablet inside there and adjust it accordingly at any viewing angle. It's going to clamp onto any surface, flat or round, and pretty neat little gadget technology.
What's a must-have tablet?
Okay, so this is really cool. This is from Intel. This is an Intel-powered Yoga 3 Pro. Now, I love this because it goes into 4 different modes. Stand mode, laptop mode, tablet mode, tent mode, all 360 degrees. And I like this because there's powerful specs behind the scenes. It's going to hook you up with 7.2 hours of battery life. It's only 2.6 pounds. It's so thin, you could slide this baby underneath a door. And also a big trend, last but not least, in the tech world, is home monitoring systems. And this is SimpleCam. Look at this little tiny guy. Inexpensive, affordable, easy to use, and sets up in under 3 minutes. And by the way, first of its kind to use facial recognition technology. It can tell the difference between your dog jumping up and down and somebody in your home.
Thanks, Katie, for all your tech and app picks to help us spring into tech action.
Awesome. Thanks so much.
Spring symbolically for many Floridians begins with Easter and Passover. Scholars believe that the German goddess of dawn and springtime was named Ostro, which means season of the growing sun and season of new birth. It's a great time to celebrate spring and enjoy fun family traditions. Here to offer some spring entertainment ideas is lifestyle expert Dana Holmes. Good morning, Dana.
Good morning. How are you?
It's important when entertaining our guests that they feel the spring in the air, right?
No spring is complete without the Easter baskets and the Easter candy. Whether it's Easter or afterwards, there are some really great treats out there that you can take advantage of. And if you love a good sale, right after Easter is a good time to pick up some of these great treats. And one of my favorite candies for springtime is Nestle Crunch. And Nestle is actually this year partnered with the Peanuts gang. I don't know if you're a Charlie Brown fan, but they have come out with a new Snoopy bunny, which is so cute. He has his little bunny ears, and they actually also came out with the creamy caramel nest eggs, which are little crunch eggs filled with caramel, which are as delicious as they sound. They make great to put in bowls, to put out for your guests anytime during the springtime.
Easter baskets represent loyalty and love, and it's truly a springtime tradition.
Exactly. It can be a part of your brunches throughout the spring. And speaking of brunch, it's great to entertain in the springtime. I mean, all the food is just so delicious and fresh, and we're celebrating the season. And one of my favorite things to do to celebrate the spring and to entertain guests is to create a beautiful cheese board. It's easy to replenish, it's delicious, and one of my favorite things to put out is the Jarlsberg wedge because it looks beautiful. You can pick it up at almost any supermarket or club store, so it's super easy to pick up, but it looks great. It's famous for its mellow, mild, and nutty flavor, so it's a crowd pleaser. And if you have leftovers, you can mix it into other recipes that you're making. It melts beautifully, like with this quiche or the pinwheel sandwiches. They actually have a bunch of recipes on the Jarlsberg website, so you can find easy ways to use the cheese and to make simple brunches to celebrate the season with your family and friends.
Thanks, Dana, for sharing springtime lifestyle tips to enjoy a fresh start in entertaining.
Thank you.
Are you dreading the spring cleaning frenzy as you get on your hands and knees and clean those nooks and crannies? Well, get ready for a spring cleaning upgrade to help give your home a fresh feel and a new look. Celebrity lifestylist Tracy Metro joins us with helpful DIY design tips on how to get your home ready for spring. Good morning, Tracy.
Good morning, Rosalie.
Now's a great time to rid the clutter and create some small changes. So where do we start?
In the laundry room. Most of us empty out the lint trap in our dryer every time, but a little bit of lint collects down in the vent, and all that collection can lead to a fire. Nobody wants that. Take your vacuum cleaner, the extension handle, put the nozzle down, suck out all that extra lint, and you really could save your life. Then head on over into the bathroom. So here we go into the bathroom. You may not realize that there's a clog way down the tub drain, all the hair that collects down there. Pour down some Drano-Max gel, let it sit for 15 minutes, pour hot water down, and poof, it is completely clear. Now, if you've got a monster clog down there, super easy. Just do the exact same thing, except wait for 30 minutes. And then do the hot water trick, and you're good to go.
All right, so what's the most effective way to tackle non-visible dirt?
I always say open up the windows, and it lets the air circulate in the home, and it has a fresh new feel, which, the air has kind of been trapped in there all winter long. So I think that is one of the things that most people don't do. Another thing that people don't do, Rosalie, is my fluff and fold makeover, which I'm on a mission to tell the world about it. There are quick fixes that can happen over the course of a weekend. Easy things like change out the faucet, in your bathroom or your kitchen, change out doorknobs and handles. But when you change them out, Rosalie, change it out to knobs and handles and faucets with a new finish. That will give your home an entirely new look. Now, all of us know and love Schlage. Schlage has a new finish coming out this spring, and it is so fashion forward. Look at this. This is the satin brass. You are going to start to see this in all the design magazines. I love this. This is not the brass from the 80s that was yellow and shiny. And you're also going to see a lot of this. Polished nickel. It's such a modern vibe, and it's clean and just very elegant. Now, let's go to the fluff and fold part. This is another really inexpensive way to do a makeover. Change out your pillows on your couch. If you had brown pillows, really drab and boring winter pillows, go to a discount store and get just fun, bright colored pillows. Don't you love this pillow back here? I think it's got a great graphic. It's, beautiful color. And look at this thrower. This is called a thrower, a throw over. You throw it over the edge of your couch or your chair, and it's by Krypton. And what's great about that is it's actually stain resistant, so you can use it and spill stuff on it, and it will just roll off.
Thanks, Tracy, for your spring cleaning upgrade tips to get our home spring clean and a fresh new look.
Thanks.
It's that time of year again to file our taxes, getting all of our bills and spreading them throughout the dining room table and spending days organizing our bills to increase our chances to capture as much of our tax refund as possible. Here to simplify the steps to file our taxes is Greg Rosica, tax partner at Ernst & Young Personal Tax Services, leading the Southeast Area Private Client Service Practice. Good morning, Greg.
Good morning, Rosalie. How are you?
Before preparing taxes, it's important for us to know recent tax law changes.
That's right, and each year there's certain changes that come through. This year, not as many as in the prior years, so maybe it'll be a little easier from that perspective, but there were some big ones. So in December, there was the reenactment of several provisions that had expired, and so you want to make sure that if any of those are applicable to you, that you're able to take advantage of those. And two quick examples: one, for teachers, if they've deducted if they have expenses, supplies, and things they bought for their classrooms, which so many teachers do, they can actually get an above-the-line deduction of $250 for those. So that came back into play late in the year, but it's there for them to take as a deduction and doing that. Also, people that have IRAs that like to give some of that money directly to a charity, that had expired but came back into play at the end of 2014. So people that did that can take advantage of that as well. Probably the bigger change that happened was the introduction of the Affordable Care Act in dealing with health insurance. And so the Affordable Care Act, this was the year 2014 when you had to have health insurance. So either you had your health insurance through your employer, in which case it's fairly simple, but there is a new box and you have to check it saying that you have health insurance through your employer, or perhaps you bought insurance through the marketplace. And if you did that, you most likely or should have received a Form 1095 within the last few weeks from them, and then you'll incorporate that into your tax return as well. Or the third situation, which you just didn't do it, you didn't get health insurance, and you're subject to a penalty, there's a form you need to fill out for that and calculate what your penalty is and be able to include that as part of your taxes this year.
So what can we do to make filing easier?
Make it easier. Start with get a copy of last year's tax return out and take a look at it. Look at the types of income you had, look at the deductions that you had, look to see if there's any items that carry over from last year to your 2014 tax return. So for example, maybe you had some capital losses. You sold some mutual funds in prior years that had a loss and you weren't able to deduct all of those. Those actually carry over and you can use them in 2014 for your tax return. So you start there and then look for this year. Try to make sure you have the same items of income, the same types of deductions, but also sit back and say, how did my life change last year? Did I change jobs? Did I have a child? Did I get married, get divorced? Those types of things, because every one of those life changes means some type of tax change. And so one of the things we've done in the EY Tax Guide, which we've been doing now for 30 years, is list out by those kind of life changes or by the types of work that you do. So if you're self-employed, we list out the types of deductions that are going to be relevant to your situation. There's so many out there, there's hundreds, maybe thousands of deductions, and you can't possibly understand them all, but it is important to understand what's going to be relevant to your situation. So we've tried to help out this year, again, with the EY Tax Guide in doing that.
What are some common tax filing errors and overlooked tax deductions?
Make sure you typed in the numbers correctly or input those and you did the math correctly. Fairly simple ones, but also more complicated ones, like you've received these complicated Form 1099s maybe because you had some mutual funds, and you might be overpaying on the sale of a mutual fund because you don't realize that every year you held it, you paid taxes, and those taxes decrease the gain that you have when you finally sell it. And so those can be some of the commonly errors that people make.
Where can our viewers find more tax help and tips?
ey.com/EY Tax Guide.
Thanks, Greg, for sharing your tax expert tips on new tax laws and overlooked deductions.
All right, thank you, Rose.
Spring is the season of the growing sun and the season of new birth. And it's a perfect time to enjoy family traditions. Share with us how you work to achieve a better life experience to gain financial independence at facebook.com/Rosely Show or visit us at roselyarchershow.com. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you soon.